Everyone, and welcome back to this week's video. Thanking the Lord through our Saviour Jesus Christ. Today we're going to carry on by looking through the Isaiah book. So last week we finished off to know about the real understanding about the signs God provided to Hezekiah in the Isaiah 38th chapter. We understood God only delivered his powers appropriately for what was really required to help Hezekiah understand the signs for his extended life period. And we cannot connect, we have to understand from this situation, with our own fleshly imagination of how this situation could have happened, or our own thoughts towards this, because God only provides what is really required in that situation, nothing over the top to show what must be done. However, today we're going to study about this and how it relates with God's characteristics, as last week we mentioned about how this attribute of showing his powers appropriately relates to his God's characteristics, and we're going to see about that in this week's video. So let's understand about this in the Dial of Ahaz. So we read about this in last week's video, where we mentioned about an extract, or we should say, which was written by an elder about this situation. So Hezekiah's father, King Ahaz, as we know, he had erected a stone dial, the latest design of those in that period of times, for measuring the hours of the day. It was formed of a succession of steps on two sides and a crest in the center, and was so orientated that the sun would so strike the top as to cast its shadow on the lowest step to show the time in hours, we can see. So this was up-to-date, latest design technology, and King Ahaz had erected one of these, we see, in this period of time. And we can see as the sun rose higher and higher, the shadow moved slowly each step, representing approximately half an hour and up, step by step, until at noon there was no shadow, we can say. And this is how the clock, we could say, of that time period worked, because this is the latest design of measuring hours of the day. For the sun was directly overhead, we can see, of the stone dial. In the afternoon, the sun having passed the westward, the shadows would begin to lengthen out upon the eastward side, to the opposite sides the shadow were in the morning. So eastward side of the movement of the momentum of the dial, we should say, covering gradually one side at a time until the last step, each step representing approximately, like we said, half an hour. So this setup was made by Hezekiah's father, King Ahaz. The type of sundial was likely, we could see, some kind of steps from east to west, and the shadow would show how much daytime remained, we can see, as each shadow, we can see, was to show how much time remained. And we can see the steps was a type of sundial, we can understand, from going east to west to show us the time, we can see. And this shadow is going forward, is a very natural, according to how the sun is in the orbit. Not the sun, the earth is in the orbit of the sun, and how the earth revolves around the sun. But God made, we can see this, go back 10 steps. You can see, by God made a miracle. The reflection of the shadows of the 10 steps went behind the steps. So it went back 10 steps by reflection of the shadows, we can see, which caused it to go behind. We can see the steps. This he carried by his wisdom and power. Truly a supernatural miracle, we can see, for God's power in this situation had to be showed to provide the sign Hezekiah had asked for. So, but he did not need to stop the earth or any changes in the sun from its arrangement, we can see. Rather, he changed the situation in a very different way. By God made a miracle where the reflection of the shadows went 10 steps backwards, which caused, of course, the shadow to go backwards. So this miracle is not anything against science or to accept as a superstitious. God provided the miracle by his power and wisdom, just as the shadow goes 10 steps backwards in the sundial, to show Hezekiah that he had been basically the miracle has been provided, and these are the signs to show that. Okay, now in the end, the verses clarify in Isaiah 38 that King Hezekiah asked for the signs, and now Isaiah applied the medicine we saw, and God saved him according to his words, as we know, as we discussed last week. And now from next week's videos, we're going to see a different approach to how this story is going to completely change about Hezekiah himself as well. So we're going to read in the Isaiah 39th chapter an important lesson and warning for us that we must be wary of, or we will end up in this situation, because no matter how hard we show our faith, that one stumble can be the end. So that is all we'll discuss about this 39th chapter for now, and I'll see you all in next week's video. So see you then. Bye.